welcome to the video editing portion of our Making of the I Remember You project. So, as with Audacity, I have opened up the program, Premiere Pro, and I have a template that I've used from a past project. In this case, again, the video as opposed to the audio of my previous guest, Tom Christensen. So if I show you what's here in this box down here, my editing box, I've selected at the top menu, Editing. There's a variety of different ways of looking at the project. I've got some graphics here that will have titles. I've got sound down here. I've got the Tom Christensen movie here, and I've got A. Garcia's master vid here. And then I've got closing credits over here. There's a black mat, which is basically a black background to be seen behind various graphics that are titles that I put in at any time, rather than having the black mat. If I don't have the black mat, titles might appear over the actual video images, whereas I want it to appear over black. So what are the important things to think about here? Well, this here is the soundtrack to the mixed soundtrack from Audacity for Tom Christensen's movie. So what I did was I originally imported Tom Christensen's movie, as I'm about to import Philip Jones' movie, and it came with its own audio. But then I had the improved upon audio from Audacity, so I brought both of them in, synced them up, and eventually got rid of the phone camera audio and left only the Audacity mixed audio. So what I have now in this project, as I roll it just to give you a sample, you can see titles up here, etc. And what I've got now is the finished product for Tom, which is me and him, and you will see his video, and it's synced up to the Audacity mixed audio. One of the things you'll notice is that the rendering on the screen is a bit slow. It's a little space age, space shuttle slow. I can change that, but it takes a lot of memory to do that. At any point, I can do some things to check some specific spots. When I stop, it catches up. You'll kind of snap into position. But right now I have it rendering at 1/8 playback resolution so that it doesn't take a lot of memory. And we have a fit here to fit on the screen, as opposed to if I want to, I can show it 100%, which is, of course, a big close-up of a slide. But I'm fitting it to the screen. If I change the rendering to full rendering, it'll really struggle to keep up, to process it, because this is not about a playback so much as editing in this particular scenario. Later I can choose to work with color, special effects, audio things, graphics, etc. But now we're going to work on replacing Tom's video and audio with the new music, everything that needs to be. Let's import, just for the heck of it, the audio first from Philip Jones, because we might be able to even sync that up visually pretty nicely. So if I go over to the Philip Jones file over here, this is the making of, I got to go back to Mr. Jones files, videos, Philip Jones. This is his raw MP4 file. So let me pull that in, and I'll pull it over here so that it gets added to my menu of files that I can draw from. So that's there. And then also I have a mixed audio, this I Remember You MIDI mixed that we created in the earlier segment. So I'm going to drag that in there too, find a place where it will accept. And so now we have the I Remember You audio. So let's do that one first, just for the heck of it. I'm going to pull that one in first. I'm going to pull it over here in this audio track and kind of line it up, because there's a distinct possibility it will line up so they're both generated from the same template. I won't even need the claps. So now if I play it, we're going to see Tom and me, but we're going to hear Tom, me, and Philip Jones at the moment. Now you're actually hearing two rhythm sections, the rhythm section that's mixed into the Christensen track and the rhythm section that's mixed into the Jones track. The fact that you don't notice two drummers and two bass players and two pianists indicates a pretty good likelihood that things are lined up. And if we take a close-up look at some of this and I zoom in, you will see that things seem to be lined up really quite well between these bottom two audio tracks. Because it does recognize how to snap to the existence of another track there. You can always override it, but it recognizes that. And that's very handy. So I'm pretty confident right now that I've got it synced up. One way I could be sure is I can get rid of the Christensen track here. So I'm going to hit Control and say cut. And I move that out. And now if I move this up, it'll stay in the same location. Now anything I play should be synced. Tom won't be heard because there's a trombonist in there now. But let's see what happens as far as the rhythm section and me. See, now it's got to catch up a little bit, but my slide was moving pretty nicely with it. Let's see what happens now. See, I'm going to get a little bit of a sample because it takes the computer. I have an old computer, so it takes a little time to render. But watch my slide in the music. So I think we're pretty good. And there are ways I can check this later. But I think I'm in pretty good shape. And so this Tom Christensen video has him pretty much intact for a good portion of it, then a fade out, then a fade back in when he comes in at the end. I want to mirror that sort of thing with Mr. Jones. But what I'm going to do now is save my file, because so far I like what I see. I'm going to take Tom over here. I'm going to drag him up a step onto the next level, because I'm going to make room here on V4, Video 4, for Mr. Jones. So I'm going to pull that in here. So now this is his video, which is probably longer than Tom's, because Tom's I probably cut only where I needed it, whereas this is a raw video from Philip. So let's put that in there. And I should point out that Tom's movie is silent, because the only I took that sound off of it. Right, so we've got his music and his video, his sound and his video in the same track. Once I resynchronize things, I'm going to separate those. But let's just kind of see what's going on. Yeah, that clap is supposed to be quite a bit earlier. So let's just start pulling it over. It might be the easiest way to make this happen. Yeah, it's just a little bit late now. It's supposed to be on beat 3 of the bar, I recall. Alright, so I'm going to have to close in so I can make more incremental movements. It was a little late. So let's move it maybe the equivalent of like 3. To go back to get some perspective here. Pretty good. Now we should be able to hear him play over the tracks. Not quite synced. Alright, so let's see about the synchronization of these tracks. I think this is as close as I get in this iteration. Then maybe if I make it bigger, I can maybe pull off another move this way. Yeah, that's closer. Let's go one more that way. Yeah, I think it was better before. Alright, so that took a little while, and it is amongst the toughest parts because even though the clap lines up with every tug that I do, music is more subtle than that. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. That's fairly close.